All right, I did not expect to be doing this soon. I did not think that these teasers were going to be released online at all. I thought that these versions of the trailers, at least, were going to be theater exclusive. And then once they put something out for the public, it'll be something none of us have seen before. It won't be the same thing as the theaters. But it looks like they put the Steve Rogers trailer out. Full disclosure, I've already seen this. I saw Avatar Fire and Ash on Thursday, so I saw this in front of it. I didn't see the Odyssey or Mandalorian trailers like some people were talking about. Odyssey trailer came out yesterday, looks fantastic, but this was the only trailer that a lot of people were talking about being exclusives in front of Avatar Fire and Ash that I actually got. So I don't really know what was going on with my screening, but I would have liked to see all of the other trailers as well. I still haven't seen the leaked version of the Mando and Grogu one. From what I've heard, it's basically the same thing. I think Disney is fumbling the marketing on that movie very hard, and God knows that that movie needs all the marketing and help that it can get. The main reason I'm doing this video is to have an excuse to talk about this subject. I know there's been a lot of stuff going on the internet regarding this news topic, a lot of contention, a lot of controversy, just a lot of different things, a lot of different feelings from different fans going on. And I think I know what's going on. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of what's going on, but I'm going to check this trailer out again. Before we get started though, do me a favor. If you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, like button, turning on post notifications, whatever you guys want to do to support the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. My main goal as of right now is to get back to doing videos a little more regularly, should I say. I don't want to promise anything that I can't keep, but I want to be doing videos more regularly. I'm going to be done with school in February. I graduate in March, so I'm very, very excited to be done with school. It's been a 2.5-year long journey. I was doing an accelerated program, so it was just a lot of work, and then having work on top of that. I'm a freelance editor, so I just have so much stuff going on. YouTube has kind of just been an afterthought, but I've really wanted to get back into making content. I really love doing it, and I'm hoping that going into 2026, starting in January, we will have more regular videos out for the channel. And what better way to kick off a new wave of content with the channel than with an Avengers Doomsday trailer? So we're going to check this out. I'm super excited, so let's go. Yeah, already this looks visually a lot better than the Russo's previous movies. Just like the color palette, the way it's saturated, the vibrance. And obviously it fits with the tone of this trailer. It's more uplifting. It's a very warm tone to it. And then with him being a dad too, which is a rumored theme of Doomsday, fatherhood. Thor being a dad, having a daughter, Steve having a son, and then RDJ's Doom, potentially the rumor is that he lost his son. So, yep, Steve Rogers will return. That's an important distinction. I know a lot of people were up in arms over some words, like the new logo and an updated countdown as opposed to what we saw in front of Avatar. But I really like that teaser. I know a lot of people were complaining about it not being enough, it feeling kind of anticlimactic in a way, which I kind of understand, but we also have to realize that this movie's a year out. I mean, when they dropped this for the first time for the public to see, it was an exact year countdown. Obviously, it was updated a little bit because they just dropped this today on YouTube. But the theater version, it was the exact year countdown. We're going to be getting small teases like this a year out. And then who knows, a full trailer at the end of these 4. Maybe the 4th one will be a full trailer or a full teaser trailer, should I say, instead of just these little teases that aren't really trailers per se. They're just kind of scenes cut together to give you a feel for what to expect, which characters to expect. And speaking of characters, obviously this reveals Steve Rogers is back, and a lot of people are unhappy with the fact that he is coming back because apparently it takes away shine from Sam Wilson as Captain America. I don't agree with that at all. Before I get into why I disagree that it's going to take away shine from Sam Wilson, let's address the obvious. There's a lot of people that are mad just for them bringing back Steve Rogers and RDJ as Doctor Doom, and this whole marketing campaign feeling a little bit desperate, like we're leaning on nostalgia. We're at a point with the MCU right now where that is kind of all they have. Sure, there's a lot of the new stuff that I have really enjoyed, but whenever it comes to the main audience, the hardcore fans are really the only ones showing up for a lot of this stuff. Whenever it comes to the normies, a lot of them aren't showing up. A lot of them aren't interested, and that has definitely been very evident by the numbers continuing to drop whenever it comes to box offices. Fantastic Four just had the lowest debut of any Marvel movie on streaming since the Marvels, which is crazy to think about because it seems like they were putting a lot on Fantastic Four and it did fine in theaters. There was no Marvel movie this year that did really good. So them leaning on all of this nostalgia, bringing back these characters, of course they did. It was a money move. It was a smart move to get people reinvested into this universe. And at this point, I think it's one of the only things that is going to work. They have to make this movie work on its own merit, but they also have to do what they failed to do whenever it comes to this new saga. It feels like this new saga, the multiverse saga that is, just introduced so many characters, didn't give us a lot to work with said characters. A lot of them weren't very likable. A lot of them didn't have enough character traits to like. And then we didn't really have a proper passing of the torch moment for a lot of these characters that are continuations, should I say, of previous iterations of characters. I think Sam Wilson, Captain America, the passing of the shield moment literally at the end of Endgame is probably the best example we have of any of these other characters. A lot of them, they just feel like hand-me-downs. They feel cheap. I don't think Yelena falls into this category with Black Widow because Black Widow isn't really a moniker. It's kind of an assassin title. But there aren't a ton of these characters that have appealed to the main audience, to the normies, that RDJ as Iron Man, Chris Evans as Cap, Chris Hemsworth as Thor. There's just no new characters that have culminated the kind of excitement that those guys can, the amount of box office numbers that those guys can culminate to. It's a really sticky situation because I understand where Marvel is coming from. I somewhat understand why a lot of the fans are freaking out on social media about them bringing back old characters. Give the new characters a chance. Well, we did, and a lot of people didn't show up to those movies, so it makes sense to move on from them or push them to the side for the time being. Maybe give them a little more of a proper build up in Doomsday, give it more of a proper passing of the torch moment for all of these characters. And I think that going forward, after the reboot, after Secret Wars, we have all these new characters, and the ones that we have met through Phase 4 and 5, maybe they're a lot more likable because of the events of these two movies. I think that everything going forward would work really well. And that's why I feel like nostalgia is kind of an important aspect right now. And it seems like once the multiverse saga ends, we're going to go away from nostalgia. A lot of that doesn't seem like it's in the plan for the pipeline that we have, like X-Men and the Sentinels being main villains, or the Celestials, being main villains. The rumor is that they're going to be the big bads of the next saga after the multiverse saga. So it seems like there's a lot of plans that don't involve the multiverse, and a lot of, the cameos and nostalgia that they could pull on from. It feels like a lot of things going forward are going to be strictly story based and not trying to appeal to, the old characters, which I think is something Marvel desperately needs. But to round out this chapter, Secret Wars, Doomsday, we were always going to have cameos. These were always the movies that we were going to have cameos with. So it makes sense. I think they just need to close this chapter out strong, even though it's been a very, very bumpy road, this saga. So for all those reasons and more that I haven't spoke on, I think that's why nostalgia is a very, very important play whenever it comes to Doomsday and Secret Wars. So now back to what I was saying about me disagreeing that this is going to take away any shine from Sam Wilson. Sure, it seems like the original three Avengers, or at least the big three from the original Avengers, are going to be the main focus of this movie. RDJ, Chris Hemsworth, and Chris Evans. I think that's smart based off of what I've said about nostalgia and them saying that this is a direct sequel to Endgame. I think it's very smart to set your premise on these three actors and their characters. Now, do I think that those three are going to completely overtake the movie and we're going to get nothing with the Avengers and the Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four and the X-Men that they've set up? No, I think they're going to be just as important. Do I think that they're going to have the most screen time whenever it comes to all of these characters and then the three main original cast of the Avengers that I mentioned? Do I think they're going to have more screen time? Absolutely. And I think it's smart, like I said, with the whole nostalgia thing, but I don't think it's going to, take away the shine from these characters. I don't think the title of Captain America is going to be stripped from Sam Wilson. I don't think it's going to be given back to Steve Rogers. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think a lot of these characters coming back and having prominent roles in this movie is, like I said, the passing of the torch kind of thing. We didn't get that in its fullest potential that we could have whenever it came to Endgame, and then passing these stories on to a new generation of characters, a new audience per se. Instead, everything was handled pretty haphazardly. It wasn't handled very well at all. And that's putting things nicely for some of these characters. So I feel like we kind of have to take a few steps back in order to take a few steps forward whenever it comes to going into the future of the MCU, setting things up on a grander scale. I think we need to put all of this nostalgia stuff in the past once and for all, but that starts with setting up the future and giving the future a reason to exist and a reason for the fans to get excited about said future. I just think all of these decisions that we're seeing come together are smart on the behalf of Marvel Studios. I think they do know what the fans want. It has taken a little bit longer than I think most people have wanted, them to come around to what the fans expect and want, but I think they're coming around. And so far with this marketing campaign, do I think the whole theater release, the exclusive trailer thing is stupid? Yes, absolutely. This is how they should have been dropping them to begin with. Maybe just the first couple days in theaters as an exclusive, but with leaks and everything these days, if this trailer's been going around the internet for the better half of the last 8 days now. So for them to finally just drop it, they didn't get ahead of the curve at all. In fact, they are so far behind it. So I don't really know what the marketing strategy is going to be. Nonetheless, I'm excited to see what they continue to put out for this movie. Every little tidbit is getting me more and more excited. Seems like we're going to be getting the brand new Day trailer sometime this week, so I will be checking that out. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, please consider hitting that subscribe button, like button, turning on post notifications. Whatever you guys want to do to support the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. So hopefully you did enjoy, and I will see you all in the next one.